Hey, howdy, hey, you're on with the Juice Man, and this is Boat Game. This morning we've got a look at the brand new campaign ship, Tier 7 British Premium Light Cruiser, Belfast 43. Starting off with the build, I've got Azure Lane Belfast on her namestake with Piercer, full speed ahead, punch through, fixated, and refill station, with a Makawa and Swirsky inspiration. Gonna get into that later. My module setup is pretty basic: aiming systems mod 1, steering gears, concealment, and main battery reload. Now, there's a lot to choose from as far as the consumables go on this ship. I've elected to run sonar in lieu of defensive fire AA, radar over fighter plane, and smoke over a heel. I'm running it with Epic Battle Booster, as I do. Got a pretty nice permanent camouflage, it's the only one for it. Get into the stats. 38,400 hit points, 16% torpedo damage reduction. It's got 12 152mm guns, just like the Belfast, but this ship has a 30mm base penetration for the HE. The HE shells do 2,450 damage on this build with a 9% fire chance, and the AP does 3,410 damage. The torpedoes, there's 3 of them on either side, reloading in 72 seconds, traveling 8 kilometers, 61 knots, and that damage maxes out at 15,867. The AA defense is nothing to sneeze at. It's, not too bad. The 102 secondaries are dual purpose, along with a whole bunch of smaller AA guns, reaching out to 5 kilometers total. Fairly maneuverable, 6.9 rudder shift and a 35.1 knot maximum speed, and I've got mine at 9.4 kilometers. Quick overview of the armor. Got 16 millimeters on the bow, pretty much expected for a light cruiser like the Belfast. Got 19 millimeters on the side, which is also really bad. 114 millimeter armor belt though, although it sits fairly low in the water. And this thing, very surprisingly, does not have a great big step citadel. Unfortunately though, got that really thin armor plating right below the 114 millimeter part of the side. So you can sneak a shell in there, just not as easily as you might think. One of the most powerful and largest light cruisers of the 30s, the ship's main battery comprised 12 152mm guns, complemented with dual-purpose artillery, torpedo armament, and aircraft handling equipment. This version of the ship reflects her 1943 outfit, as opposed to our much later Tier 6 Belfast. Ships in a service too, pretty sure the other one's Edinburgh. No, there was a few of these things. Now I'm confused. Let's just jump straight into the game. And we are on Shards, on the Charlie spawn. Now, there's a Mains and Belfast 43 on the enemy team. There's another Belfast 43 on my team. Other than that, pretty standard matchmaking. 6 cruisers per team and 3 battleships, with no destroyers or carriers. Don't you just love to see it? So my primary objective here is going to be getting into position and testing Charlie, just like I do on this map all the time. Checking out the spawn at mid, which is going to, spoiler alert, ruin a little bit of my fun.
主のため障害を取り除くのはメイドの務めです。それではベルファスト参ります。援護します。もう少々持ちこたえてください。
Now, when I was first looking at this ship, I wasn't really paying attention to what it had access to. It didn't really occur to me that having 5 smoke screens was a little bit weird for this cruiser, until I figured out that this thing has destroyer smoke screens. And that is what shifted my playstyle in this game. So I'm going to stop here, I'm going to use my first smoke, and then farm the Kansas for a little bit of damage, because that's what I was planning on doing, was hanging back a little bit and just keeping everybody out of this cap. But then I noticed the duration. There's already only 40 seconds left on this smoke. That's when it occurred to me that this thing has destroyer smoke. I think it's the same smoke that the likes of the Lightning would have. That's when I realized I could play the hit and run game, I could play the engage and then very quickly disengage game. Kansas just took a pretty good slap from our battleship, so I gave him a nice work, and 20 seconds left on the smoke screen. There's a fire on the Kansas. We're already racking up a little bit of damage. Second fire. Now it's time to push up. Take a cheeky shot at the, I want to say classic Belfast, but it really isn't classic. It's the newer version of the Belfast that came out forever ago in mid. Just a quick HE followed by an AP salvo at him. He dropped spot. I get a fire on him to boot. It's time to push into this cap. The mains and the other Belfast 43 are on their way over here. There's a Kansas and I believe a Nagato behind the Charlie cap, and there's a Miyoko over here. So I like my odds, personally. Torpedoes from the Miyoko. Just had to hit my sonar a little late. But it is what it is. I'll make sure I catch the other side if he launches the other side. He immediately decides it's time to start kiting. I'm going to hit the radar, figure out where the battleships are, throw some torps out there to deter them from coming in. I turn at a very inconvenient time, but Miyoko's pretty bad at aim, so not a huge issue. My shell selection's a little whack for that salvo, but it is what it is. We're going to get this cap, and it's going to be a solo cap. Before anybody gives me any trouble about popping that radar, there's no DDs in this game. If you got it, use it. The other Belfast 43 on my team, no offense to him of course, is playing the way I initially intended to play this, hanging back, shooting some HE, but because of this destroyer smokescreen, I already have it back. I can nose around this corner and make this mains upset with me. There's my solo cap ribbon, and it's time to get on his bad side. Nagato appears to be coming back in this direction, which is good news for everybody else. Definitely not for me at this range. I'm going to start backing up, try to get reacquisition on this Kansas, and try to see if I can't find that Miyoko as well. Now, my teammates hanging back actually kind of helped me out a little bit here. Wait for it. They spot the Kansas. Let me know exactly where he's at. I think that's a plane from our battleship that spotted that, actually. Now I've got acquisition on the Belfast 43. I know where the Kansas is. I truly believe that the next thing around this corner is going to be the Nagato. So I've got my torpedoes ready to throw at the Nagato, and you'll never guess what appears right in front of me. Torpedoes out, the AP's already loaded, angle away. Hello, Miyoko. I'm terribly sorry for what's about to happen to you. He hits me pretty decently, but I clap him for 5 citadels, and Colorado robs me of my dev strike, but it is what it is. I can't complain. Would have been a pretty cool dev strike, but you can't win them all. He's been an exceptional teammate up to this point. I really can't complain. So now, would you look at that? We have another smokescreen to disengage after that engagement. No kiting, no trying to dodge shells. Just disengage, get away. And I forgot about the other Belfast 43, who uses his radar to spot me. I'm extremely fortunate not to have been rocked by that AP. Gonna take a shot into his smokescreen and dip. Time for Colorado and the other Belfast to have a turn. with this Nagato. I've got some cruisers to deal with.
指定目標に攻撃を集中してください。
And maybe a cheeky shot at the Nagato before I go around the corner.
我が方の勝利は目前です。爪の一撃行わせていただきます。
In which I proceed to shatter and ricochet. So now it is definitely time to deal with these cruisers. I just got my smoke screen back. I'm just gonna nudge around the corner. Got the main spotted. And right here is where I get a little bit disappointed with the armor piercing. See, I am a through and through hipper main. And at this angle, that mains is like 3 shots max. He's done. But even with the full pens, I just don't have the pen to smack right into that citadel. It's unfortunate, really, but it is what it is. Even this Belfast 43. The angle he's given me and the side that he's given me, that should have been juicy. But I caught him a little bit too late. He was already turned a little too much for me to deal with him. But it is what it is. I hit the radar as soon as I realized he was there, and fortunately it was just a second too late. Now my very much destroyer-esque smokescreen is starting to run out, so I'm gonna start backing around this corner so I don't get wrecked as soon as I get spotted. And one more shot at the mains. Now, unfortunately, the enemy team's on 50 points. We're on 700 points. This has so far been pretty much a steamroll. There's one ship left. It's the Nagato. Not for long. Mercy roll. They're done. I really would have liked to pull around that corner, fight that mains, and fight that Belfast, but what can you do when your teams are, well, your teams? So we finished this battle with 92,338 damage, 133 shell hits, 2 spots, 2 incaps, 3 fires, 5 citadels, and a solo cap. And keep in mind, this was my very first battle in the ship. I did play one battle after. It did not go very well at all. And 2,424 base XP. Top of the leaderboard. We did what we had to do. We contested a cap. We kept people out of it. I'd say, all in all, a pretty decent showing of the Belfast 43, disengaging with the smoke screens, using the AP and the HE. So, if you want to get the ship, I'd say don't spend a whole bunch of money for it, don't wail for it, but just like most of the Tier 7 premiums, absolutely get the Admiralty backing. There's so many good rewards, including a free premium ship. And hey, if you hate it, turn it into credits, I don't care. If you liked the video, slap like. If you like videos like this, you want to see more, definitely hit subscribe. I will see you all in the next one. Peace.